art. I've loved art since I was little. I remember as a 4-year-old making pictures for my family, and I felt like I was special because I could do that. And so now I'm 49, and for God to still be using art, and he was using it before I knew him, and I'm just so grateful that he's still working that way in my life. And when you see the video, you'll get to see children's artwork, and they're Spanish speaking, but even as each artwork is completely unique, you don't need the same language in order to communicate through the visual arts. It looks like art from the kids here in Lake Country. So it was beautiful to see art transcend language barriers. And it got me to thinking, I was walking, because we were walking all the time in the streets of Barcelona, just the visual arts, we can agree they're corrupted. And Mike and I have talked about it. Our work here in Lake Country with the arts is redeeming the visual arts. And I got to thinking, has he been so focused on corrupting the visual arts because our languages are confused, these languages, but the visual arts don't need this language. And so if it's visual arts that dishonor God, that distract you, that put temptation in your heart, it's God dishonoring. It doesn't matter what language you speak. When you see it, you know, and it distracts, and it's emblazoned in your memory. It can affect your heart. But the opposite is true. And that if we're creating art that honors God, we don't have to speak the same language. That visual art can lead to worship and can honor God, regardless of the language. And so I am so encouraged and energized to be back in Lake Country. And it's a good work. It's not frivolous. It's something that it's a platform God has given me to work in, and I'm very grateful for that. I think the biggest thing from my heart with the trip is that I got smaller. And, it starts driving my beat-up minivan from my little town in Clarksville to the city of Richmond, and it's parked in this great big church parking lot. I feel like, wow, Water's Edge is pretty small. Look at how big this place is. And then go to D.C., to that airport, and I get smaller. And then the New York airport, and I get smaller. And the Barcelona airport, and I just keep getting smaller and less significant. And God keeps getting bigger, and the people he has on earth that he loves, they keep multiplying. And so my vision of what God has just kept getting bigger, and he got bigger, and he got bigger. But even as I got smaller, it was so beautiful because his care for me never got smaller. And as tiny and as insignificant as I am, he has a purpose for me, and he loves me, and he knows every detail, and that is true for every single image bearer that I saw along the way. So Psalm 67 was actually a psalm that was on my reading after I got back, but it is more precious now, having been to Barcelona. And Psalm 67 says, "May God be gracious to us and bless us and make his face to shine upon us, that your way may be known on earth, your saving power among all nations. Let the peoples praise you, O God. Let all the peoples praise you. Let the nations be glad and sing for joy, for you judge the peoples with equity and guide the nations upon earth. Let the peoples praise you, O God. Let all the peoples praise you. The earth has yielded its increase. God, our God, shall bless us. God shall bless us. Let all the ends of the earth fear him." And linking that with Psalm 16, in your presence there is fullness of joy, and let the nations be glad and sing for joy. It is the gospel of Jesus Christ. The nations will find gladness in God. And the blood of Jesus is the only way for them to know the God that will fill them with joy and make them glad. And I'm very grateful to have had the opportunity to just be a small part of that by going to Barcelona.